Hello, Monarchs fans, and welcome to Monarchs Live, the pregame show edition from here in Sioux City. Dan Vaughn with you. Get the audio adjusted right there and double check and make sure we're getting hurt. Yeah, you're hearing me. You're hearing me, which is all good. And we're here in. There we go. Try it again there. Let me just move this down. There we go. One, two, there we go. Glad you're along on Monarchs Live. Dan Vaughn with you from Sioux City. Pregame show a little early tonight. Why not be a little early for once, right? DB is always scrambling from behind. This time we're a little early, so that's always a good thing here from Sioux City. And give you the details in this one. A couple of notes to pass along to you here in the broadcast booth. First off, a couple of notes. First off, Matt Blackham has announced his retirement from baseball. We wish him the best. But the right-hander who worked last night for the Monarchs, he has hung him up and wishing him the best. A very nice young man. And, of course, he'd had some and he talked a bit about this with Jackson Webb on the Dugout Report back on the last homestand. Injuries, things of that nature. He's just kind of trying to fight through it all. And he has announced his retirement, and we wish him the best, Matt Blackham. So Blackham off the roster. No transaction to add today. We expect, obviously, with some lower numbers, figured some point some names will be added. Don't know when that'll be, but we'll be standing by this weekend. We get home to get an update with you on that. Also, one more note today on the Swope Health Report, brought to you by Swope Health, the exclusive healthcare partner of your Monarchs. Joe Capriatro telling us on the top step tonight that Darnell Sweeney, and I actually talked a little bit to Darnell as well, during the game last night, latter part of the ball game, he didn't come out, but he had a bit of some kind of hip issue, just kind of a bit of a flexor, perhaps, for lack of a better medical term. But he was going through treatment today. Precautionary night off tonight, I do believe. So Darnell and Joe will address that on the top step on the radio side here in about a half hour. But so Darnell not in the lineup card tonight, which takes me to the lineup card tonight behind Matt Hartman. Hartman going tonight for Kansas City. Hartman, who has started in his career over the years playing, obviously, in the Braves system, but he is, and also in college as well as last year in college, was primarily a starter. So it's a sort of bit of I compared him a little bit to Jamison McGrain to a degree, but a guy who's done both, worked as a starter. And Joe told us this last night when he announced that Hartman would start today. He did mention that Hartman in spring training was in that mix for the rotation, but where the numbers worked out, he went to the bullpen. So he was in the mix for that. So it's not really, it's the natural guy. He's kind of been the long guy as well. He naturally slides into that role for Kansas City, which takes us to tonight's lineup card, brought to you by Price Chopper, the exclusive grocery partner of your Kansas City Monarchs. Joe Booker will draw the start in center field tonight. Booker 2 for 5 on the road trip and does have the 4 stolen bases. So probably 3 stolen bases. He had one last night for number 3. I don't know why I wrote down 4, but Gabby Guerrero will bat second. He'll be in left field. I got a funny note for Gabby tonight in the broadcast, so stay tuned for that. It's like fun. You're not gonna split your side, but we finally decided we finally solved the Gabby Gabby or Gaby dilemma. We'll get to that tonight in the broadcast. David Thompson bats third. He'll be at third base. Matt Adams is DH. He bats cleanup for Kansas City. John Hernandez will be in right field. He'll bat fifth. It'll be Casey Gillespie, who's been red hot as of late in the road trip. He'll bat sixth and play first base. Pete Cosma batting seventh over at third base. Actually, pardon me, at shortstop. Alexis Almeida catching tonight. He'll bat eighth. And then Kevin Santa. He's also been red hot. He'll bat ninth for Kansas City in this one. Joe Booker, Gabby Guerrero, David Thompson, Matt Adams, John Hernandez, Casey Gillespie, Pete Cosma, Alexis Almeida, and Kevin Santa here for the Monarchs. And just looking at the time here, we're about 35 minutes from the pregame show rolling tonight. I can tell you that tonight on the Monarchs pregame show, we've got Joe Capriatro's top step. Your Coors Light flashback moment. I'm taking you back to 1946 and a bit of a crazy week of the schedule for the Monarchs. But the Monarchs have playing a pair on this date against the Cleveland Buckeyes. We'll talk about that. Also, I want to tell you about Connie Johnson. I mentioned Connie Johnson over the years, the legendary Monarch who made the big leagues late in his career. I'm going to dive in a little bit more in Monarchs 101 TV. We'll talk about him. Also, with this, doing the broadcast tonight, get you caught up in some action that happened here in Sioux City for the Monarchs back in the day. And maybe we finally will get to that story of Stockyards Park. Whew. The catcher and the batter were standing the wrong direction against that wind. You knew you were in Stockyards Park. We'll talk about that a bit in the broadcast as well tonight. They'll be going with Patrick Leday. He's a left-hander facing the right-hander Matt Hartman for Kansas City. Don't forget tomorrow, Monarchs return home to Legends Field in Kansas City. The Milwaukee Milkmen come a-calling Friday, Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon, off day Monday. Then we'll see Sioux City again next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we'll be, it's not like you're done with them. You got to see them again. So this thorn in your side, which has been the Sioux City Explorers, comes your way again next week. Monarchs have not solved Sioux City yet this year. Lost the series at home. I've already lost this one, but trying to salvage one here. And more importantly, the test we talked about, Kansas City acing the Chicago test, can ace the road trip with a 4-2 road trip. So you win tonight, you'll finish 4-2. Maybe not pass the test against Sioux City, but the big road trip in the big picture, you've done a pretty good job. You get the win tonight. So that'll be the task at hand for Kansas City in this one. Again, broadcast time at 6:35. First pitch at 7:05. Mix LR, the Monarchs Broadcast Network. Hope you'll join us on the call tonight, and I'll bring that up for you as well. And your Monarchs Live, there we go. I'll bring this down to remind. There we go. Mind you that we'll be on Mix LR, and I'll put the link right here in the chat as well. I'd love to have you guys out tonight on the broadcast. Of course, you can't join us on MixLR. You can always check us out on the association site, aabaseball.tv, aabaseball.tv. I don't know why it's not coming up, but yeah, let's do this. Let's do this real quickly here, and we can always ship to the fly. Oh, say we'll ship to the fly. Let's try this. Maybe right. Try this one. This might work right. That'll work. This will work right there. There you go. There's your MixLR and also aabaseball.tv tonight, aabaseball.tv on the broadcast side. All right, we'll see you guys at 6:35 with the pregame show and the Monarchs and the Sioux City Explorers from right here in Sioux City. As we always say, go Monarchs. I'll see you in the broadcast. Not everybody.